My name is Isaac Nkosi, the Vice President of the South African Council for the Project and Construction Management Professions. Our council members and registrar of the SSPCMP, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. Firstly, I would like to welcome you all to this 2016 Project and Construction Management Conference, which you all know is an annual event intended to give an opportunity to built environment management professions to convene and share ideas, knowledge, and discuss critical issues affecting the professions in particular and the country in general. We have a very exciting program for the next 2 days, and I know some colleagues participated in the master classes yesterday. And I hope you will find the presentations and discussions fulfilling at both professional and personal level. Let me just give a brief overview of the SSCPCMP conference. The theme this year is towards growth, development, and transformation in the project and construction management professions. There is a plethora of opportunities, successes, and challenges in the massive infrastructure development program in South Africa led by the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission, the PICC, as well as in other various privately funded infrastructure development projects. The South African project and construction management professions and the construction industry are world-class in comparison to other parts of the African continent. We have developed internal capacity to undertake and deliver most of the country's internal infrastructure projects without the need for assistance from other larger countries. To illustrate this, the 2010 FIFA Soccer World Cup infrastructure build and the subsequent infrastructure development to date is proof of the construction industry's skills, competence, and capability to execute major projects without major assistance. This conference provides a unique platform, inclusive of all the stakeholders in government, industry, civil society, and academic institutions to share information, discuss and further drive the growth, development, and transformation of the industry in South Africa. This forum offers all participants the opportunity to discuss, debate, and exchange ideas and experiences in critical areas affecting the project and construction management professions and the industry, which, among others, include growth, development, and transformation of the project and construction management professions, exposure to public sector infrastructure procurement through the Office of the Chief Public Procurement Officer, enterprise development, job creation, skills development, and mentorship of new entrants, the delivery of economic infrastructure by both the state and the private sector to stimulate economic growth and create the much-needed jobs, provide the latest trends and direction on pragmatic dispute resolution in the built environment aimed at reducing the legal costs and timeframes for dispute resolution in the public and private sectors, cooperation between institutions of higher learning and the industry in developing and advancing project and construction management, infrastructure development in Africa at large, creating a climate of trust to ensure that both the public and private sector work together in infrastructure development and maintenance through public-private partnerships and other creative mechanisms relevant to new conditions that obtain globally as a result of the economic downturn that led to the contraction of the international and local economies. This preeminent learning event will be addressed by thought leaders nationally and globally, which will include the private sector, ministers, and senior government officials responsible for government's infrastructure, the built environment professions, heads of state-owned enterprises with massive infrastructure delivery units, industry leaders and academics from leading institutions, among others. My humble request this morning is that we all are required to make our participation in the conference a worthwhile experience by attending all the presentations, partaking in the breakaway sessions, and partaking in the plenary discussions. Every view matters, as noted by Anthony Robbins, one of the greatest life coaches of our times. I quote, "It is not what you get, but who you become and what we contribute that gives meaning to our lives." It now gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, to introduce to you the conference program director, Ms. Leanne Manas. Multiple award-winning TV presenter, radio host, MC, and style icon, Ms. Leanne Manas. She is a renowned leader on the South African media circuit. From Oprah Winfrey to Nelson Mandela, Leanne has interviewed an impressive range of public figures, heads of state, thought leaders, and local and international celebrities during her over a decade-long on-screen career. She is instantly recognizable as the face of the SAB2's flagship breakfast show, The Morning Live Show, a hard-hitting news broadcast that she has anchored since 2004. Driven by her passion for her birthplace and fellow South Africans, Leanne reached even greater heights, both personally and professionally, on Mandela Day 2015, when she summited Africa's highest point, Mount Kilimanjaro, during a successful fundraising expedition. An impressive career indeed, met with unwavering professionalism, has seen Leanne taking the roles of a competitive and compare and guest speaker at different functions for several high-profile corporations, including the Emirates Airlines, the Mercedes-Benz, Vodacom, Nedbank, SAA, Discovery, and Alexander Forbes, to name just a few. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Ms. Leanne Manas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac. What an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really nice to see all of you here today. Did you catch what I said? Because there's not a hell of a lot of us in here, ladies. We got to stick together, maybe stand on each other's shoulders so we can make the numbers look a little bit higher. I'm a bit worried about it, but I got a feeling we might increase that number once all is done. And I can tell you, I am so excited to actually just be a part of something. And I was discussing this with Isaac a bit earlier. One of the wonderful parts of my job is that I get to experience different industries that I don't necessarily have too much exposure to. And to be honest with you, I don't want too much exposure to, particularly in the building industry. Let me elaborate on that. We renovated my house about 2 years ago, and my husband and I struggled a lot. It was devastating. You know when people tell you that renovating a house and building a house is very heavy on a marriage? No one's lying. You guys bring out the worst in us. You really do. So I'm here to understand what makes you tick. And in between it, I shall comment where I can. But to be honest with you, it really is a pleasure. I've been trying to do a little bit of homework in the construction industry and to see particularly where South Africa is performing well and where we are not performing well. And I suppose, you know, as Isaac alluded to, it's very difficult to beat those heydays of the build-up to the 2010 World Cup. I mean, we visited as a program, and the program that I do, Morning Live, we had the privilege and the honor to be able to go and visit these particular stadiums all over the country and see the construction that was behind all of that, and just seeing our airports being renovated, seeing hotels, restaurants, shopping centers, entertainment areas, how trains, you name it. I mean, I have never seen a country boom as much as it did in the run-up to the 2010 World Cup. So it's no real surprise that, you know, there's been a slump since then. But I think with basically on the horizon, you know, with the Commonwealth Games coming up, I think perhaps that could be one of the other tricks into getting more construction going in the country. But there's never a day and there's never a place in South Africa where you don't see something coming up. But I think the fear is that more needs to be done. There needs to be more skills, and there certainly needs to be transformation in this industry in order for it to empower and help a lot of other individuals. So just from a little bit of reading, that's all I've managed to pick up. So over these next 2 days, I'm hoping that with a little bit more insight from all of you, I'm going to learn much, much more. So it's a great privilege and an honor to be here to learn about such an important aspect of our lives. If any of you are tweeters out there, which I'm hoping some of you are, so that we can get what's going on in here out there to the public, there's a hashtag that you must use if you do tweet. It is going to come up on your screen, and it'll be flashing quite a lot. We're just keeping it as simple as we possibly can. It's hashtag SACPCMP. I think 2016, is that what we decided on? I think just end it with 2016, and that's the hashtag you'll be using. But remember, we will put it up, so you can just clarify that. As for Wi-Fi, I think if you log on to the internet, you'll automatically be redirected to a landing page where you can log on to some of the free Wi-Fi. It should last you maybe a minute or two, 100 megabytes. Don't blame us, blame the convention center. 100 megabytes, what can that, you kind of measure data by chappies these days, don't you? Because I think that's how much 100 megabytes is, unfortunately. But you let me know how long it lasts you. I'm quite keen to see how much you can download or tweet or work on when it comes to the 100 megabytes. I'll let you know when mine runs out. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this next speaker of ours, we're looking very forward to having him. Of course, I suppose he is really the man behind it all and the man that's really going to officially welcome us here. And is a great champion for this particular industry. I'm talking about Eric Manchidi. He started his career, and I'm going to just indulge a bit just to tell you a little bit about Eric here, with Grinica Properties and Projects, a construction project management and property development company, in December 1994, where he was employed as a construction site engineer. He later joined Blue Circle Cement and McDonald's SA as business development consultant and a construction project manager, respectively. He joined the National Department of Public Works as a director of asset procurement and operating partnership systems, a public-private partnership program in August 1998. He also is the founder and chief executive officer of Procurement Dynamics. The company focuses on project and program management, construction policy, planning and delivery management, support, and economic development. He's highly qualified in this industry. He obtained a BSc in building and an MSc building from WITS. He's a profession construction project manager registered with the South African Council for Project and Construction Management Professions. So I suppose with a CV like that, it's no wonder why he, of course, is the president of the SACPCMP. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him up here onto the stage to address us. Eric?
Minister of Public Works in absentia, Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister of Transport, Premier of Gauteng, the ambassadors present, the Director General of the Department of Public Works and your top management, distinguished guests, conference participants, council and board members of our sister entities within the Ministries of Public Works, I greet you all. I welcome you to the 4th Construction and Project Management Conference entitled Towards Growth, Development, and Transformation. As always stated in our promotional materials of this yearly conference, the objective is to provide all the participants with a forum to discuss, share experiences, provide guidance, and devise a strategy for the strengthening of the built environment management professions. For those who might not know the professions under the ambit of the SACP-CMP, these professions do not only include construction project management and construction management, but they also include construction health and safety and construction mentorship for now. The conference takes place nearly 9 months after the Competition Commission has refused to grant exemptions to our identification of work, or ID of work as we call it. We know very well that ID of work is aimed at providing reservation of work for registered professionals with a certain level of competencies and skills, that being done with the objective of protecting the public. Perhaps this position of the Competition Commission gives an opportune moment to think about the built environment professions within the South African society at large. In doing so, we need to reflect on the concept of public interest and values away from the Western practices and traditions where professions are themselves also challenged as they fail to provide public goods and services, but have focused much more on self-interest, of course not in all moments, but in certain situations. This is necessary for us as a nation that is in transition. It remains true that the ideals of a true profession are not reflected in this society of ours. This is shown in terms of the racial, gender, age, and geographical spread of the professions we participate in. We then ask ourselves as to how untransformed professions and professionals serve the wider public interest. Though we are certain of lack of transformation in our professions, and perhaps a slow pace in certain quarters, we are not ready to give up on built environment professions and professionalism in general. In the view of the SACP-CMP, therefore, professions have a fateful choice: to remain untransformed and therefore lose the confidence of the society, or embrace the wider societal transformation. We say transformation of the professions is inevitable anyway. However, it will have to take place within a growing, developing, and equally transforming construction and property sectors. How things will develop, therefore, is still an open question that does not only require this council to answer, but all stakeholders to sincerely address. Hence, we ask the following questions in this conference. What are the implications of true professionalism for a nation in transition like ours? How do we drive professional ethics and values in a society that itself discourages transformation and rewards corrupt behaviors? How feasible is it to have transformed professions in construction and property industries that are themselves not transformed, underdeveloped, and perhaps not growing? What have been the successful models of transformation in other sectors of the economy and professions that can be transplanted to our own sectors and professions? Taking all this into account, we expect the deliberation of this conference to tell us much more about what the future of the professions holds. For us as a council, how do we choose the best tools to realize the best intentions of the regulatory mechanisms we find ourselves in? We do so realizing very well that some are doubting as to whether transformation is the cost mandate of this council. We are very positive about the fact that protecting the public interest in an underdeveloped society like ours call for more broadening of access to professional services. Accordingly, we believe that our strategies for realizing these regulatory mechanisms, as set down by the law, should not be set in a frame of the pre-1994 mentality, but in terms of the needs of the majority of our society. Last but certainly not least, I thank my predecessors for thinking about this annual event, which is certainly a trendsetter in the construction and property sectors. I wish to recognize the good work that my fellow councillors, committee members, the registrar, and the staff of the SACP-CMP have carried out for all these years. Congratulations, well done, and thank you. With these remarks, I declare this conference open and wish you well in the deliberations. I trust that we will emerge from these 3 days with a conference that will provide a coherent framework for addressing growth, development, and transformation in our entire system of built environment professions. Thank you for your kind attention. Enjoy the conference. I thank you.